in this case, one of the questions that I was asked by a student was 5x minus 7y equals 4, and here the slope is actually something else other than just 4, 5, or 7 because you have to convert this into y equals mx plus b form, which means that your y must not have any coefficient except for 1. Now, hopefully remember that if it is 1y, we simply just ignore the 1 and we erase the 1 and just say y. Same thing with just the x. So in order for us to do so, then we have to move everything to the other side except for the y term. So what I'm going to do is I'll get rid of the 5x from the left side and then we'll put it on the other side. But when you do so, we have to subtract it from the both sides so that the 5x on the left will be gone, or you move it to the other side and switch the sign. Doesn't really matter which way you do. So then I have minus 7y equals then minus 5x plus 4. This was positive 4, so that's why it stays as positive 4 or plus 4. But you cannot combine these two. These two are two different terms. One is x and one is non-x, so you cannot add them together and saying it is negative 1x. It's like if you have a couple of elephants in your room and then a couple of mice in your room. If I ask you how many elephants there are, you're not going to ask them, or you're not going to count all of them and tell me there are whatever, right? So make sure you know how to count it properly. So in this case is negative 5x plus 4. However, then we have negative 7 still in front of the y, and because of that we have to get rid of the negative 7 since we're going towards that y equals mx plus b form. And from this point on, then since this is negative 7 times y, therefore you divided this by negative 7, divide everything else by negative 7. So then negative 7 will be gone, then y will be negative 5 divided by negative 7. You can use your calculator, however, it's not going to give you a definitive decimal number or value, so you just leave it as a fraction. Negative divided by negative is positive, and then 5 over 7 is just a 5 over 7. You cannot reduce it anymore. And then the x. Positive divided by negative for this part is then negative, so the negative 4 over 7 again is not a definitive value. It just keeps going if you do the calculation on your calculator, so then it will be negative 4 over 7. So then we have completed our equation 5x minus 7y equals 4 to y equals mx plus b form. And according to this, remember the m, not the x, just the m, the number, not the x, represents the slope. The b is your y-intercept. Therefore, your slope, the m, is just 5 over 7 since that's the number in front of the x like the m. Whereas the negative 4 over 7 is your y-intercept since that's whatever that is left over on the same side with the x. So b is then negative 4 over 7. So that's how you find the slope from the non-y equals mx plus b form. You have to convert it to the y equals mx plus b. So then the slope is 5 over 7. Now the y-intercept is negative 4 over 7. So the question is, then it says, is it positive linear relation? Yes. If it is y equals mx plus b form, or if the y or y, not or, y and x does not have any exponents, then it is linear. Okay, if you have y squared equals mx plus b, that's not a linear because of this square over there with a y. If you have y equals mx squared plus b, same thing. Because of the square with the x, this is not a linear. So this is linear with a slope of positive 5 over 7. So this equation, the 5x minus 7y equals 4, has a positive slope. And it says, and if 4 was replaced with a negative 4, does it mean it's negative? No. If this becomes negative 4 instead of positive 4, it's not going to affect your slope since This one does not have anything with the x. If it doesn't, then, well, it's not going to affect the positive or negative slope. So the easiest way to figure out whether the equation has positive slope or negative slope is to convert from the standard form to the standard form being this, standard form being that, to the y equals mx plus b form. And then you will be able to tell whether that's positive or negative. Now, then the next one is the grid shows the graph of 4 lines. Determine the equation of 2 of the lines below so that one has a positive slope and the other line has a negative slope. Explain for a comma 2c. This is being marked, so I cannot give you a direct answer to this. I really can't, but I can give you something similar to this so that you will be able to use that and apply to this question. It says determine the equation of 2 of the lines below so that the one has a positive slope and the other line has a negative slope. So first one, basically from the graph, it's easy for you to figure out which one is positive and which one's negative in terms of the slope wise. So if it is a positive slope, remember the slope is rise over run. Your rise and the run will have the same sign so that it will be positive, right? If you have positive divided by positive, that will be positive. Negative divided by negative will also be positive, right? And because of this characteristics, the run and the rise, their direction is kind of the same, I would say. So the graph looks like this for the positive. It always goes up, okay? If it is negative, then the slope rise over run, their direction kind of goes in the opposite way. So that if the rise is in positive, meaning going up, and the run is negative, meaning going to the left, then it will give me the negative slope because positive divided by negative is negative. And then negative for the rise or positive for the run, meaning going down and then going to the right, will also yield negative for the slope because negative divided by positive is negative. And because of this characteristic, the negative slope looks like this. So one, the positive goes up as you go to the right, negative is the other way around. Then you may ask, what if I have a line flat, like it's not going really anywhere but just sideways completely? Now this is a slope of 0. You're not going up or down. So then it will be 0 over whatever, and that will be 0 because 0 divided by something is always 0. Another case is where if you have a line straight up and down, and your slope in this case is then undefined. And the reason is very simple because the rise is whatever. It can go up by 2, up by 3 because you're just going straight up. But for the sideways, since the line is going straight up, for sideways you do not go anywhere. It just stays in the same spot in terms of the sideways. So then it will be 0. But something divided by 0 is always undefined. Okay? Therefore, there are 4 cases of the slopes, and hopefully you understand that. Now, based on this, then you have to figure out one looking like this with a positive slope, the other one looking like this for the negative slope. Now then the question is, how would you find the equation of it? Now remember, the linear has the equation of y equals mx plus b. So then m represents the slope, which is rise over run, and then b represents the y-intercept. Now y-intercept is the point where your graph intersects with the y-axis. So let's say if I have a graph going this way, this is going to be my y-intercept. If I have a line going that way, then this is going to be my y-intercept. Okay? So y-intercept is easy to look for. Then the slope is also easy to look for. Now when you look at the slope and try to find the slope from the graph, the first thing that you have to do is to set 2 points. Now choose easy 2 points. Don't choose something ambiguous. Okay? Choose something that actually is at the corner of each grid or each box, so that we know that's definitive number rather than something like in between. Okay, we don't even know whether that's 0.5 or 0.4 or 0.49, and even though that difference is very small, it will actually change your answer. So choose something very definitive, and then the second part is find the rise. Now remember, rise is how much you go up or down by. So from the first point, I usually choose the left point, and to the right point, count how many times you have to go up by. So let's say if it is 1, 2, 3, then you have to go straight up from the left to get to the right, then that will be your rise. So in this case, it's a rise of 3. If you go up by 5, it will be a rise of 5. If you go down, then you already know it is a negative. It will be negative, like, I don't know, -3 if it is going down by 3. Then the third one is find the run. And then as you know, run is sideways, but since you are always starting from the left point, just do not worry about whether it's moving to the left or the right. You just always go to the right. So from the previous example that I have, from this, I have to run 1, 2, 3, let's say 4. So then this is my run of 4. So then run. Then the last step is very simple and easy. Since your slope is rise over run, and in this case, it will be 3 over 4, right? So if you start from the left side or left point and then moving always towards the right, you just need to worry about whether you're going up or down. You don't have to worry about whether you're going to the left or right. And you find the y-intercept, and then that's it. So if I have, let's say, this example over here, and then goes like this. And let's say that is +3, and let's say that is 2, 7. I don't know. Sure. Then this one is a positive slope since it's going up, and the y-intercept is right there. And remember, y-intercept's coordinate is always 0, something. X-intercept has the 0 of the y value, and the y-intercept has the 0 value of the x. So it's basically opposite. If you're looking for the y-intercept, the other one, I don't care, just put the 0. If you're looking for the x-intercept, I don't care what the y is, just put the 0 for that. So then in this case, I have b as a +3. Then find the rise. So I'm going to choose this point. I mean, sure, there can be this point or that point, but this is an easy enough point for me to use. So then I go to the 7, so I have to go 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I go up by 4, so my rise is then 4. And then my run is from that point where you stop running, where you stop rising. Then I go 1 and then 2. So then my run will be 2. So from this, my slope, the rise over run, will be 4 over 2, which then is going to be 2. So your equation will be y equals 2x plus 3, and then finish. So that will give you the positive slope, since it's going up, and it gives you the equation of this straight linear relation. Then doing the other one, it's basically the same thing. Okay, so hopefully this helps you, and if it was good, sure, I don't know. I mean, I'm putting up this on the YouTube, but it's for you. So if you like it, click the like button. If you liked it, I don't know, subscription, sure. Okay, all right, bye.